Welcome to Daily Success. Listen in on these personal conversations with today's leaders, innovators, and influencers as they discuss daily success principles, systems, and solutions. Get ready for Daily Success. Now, here's your host.
Hi, everyone. This is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited because today I'm talking with a personal friend of mine who is Heather Podesta. And let me just tell you something about Heather. Heather is a star maker. And what that means is that she actually can help you become a star. And she teaches driven entrepreneurs how to package and present their talents to attract their ideal high-paying clients and to step into the spotlight with confidence. So if you think about it, what do you really want? You want to represent yourself in the best way and attract high-paying clients. I think that's an important point for daily success. She has more than 20 years of professional performance experience on stage as an operatic soprano, a speaker, and as the host of a popular podcast and television show, Thrive, and it is a fun show. I actually was a guest, and we actually did 2 parts, and I still share those Thrive episodes maybe once a quarter because they were such good interviews. So thank you, Heather, for that. Also, Heather combines her unique performance skills with her expertise as a certified personal brand strategist, business coach, and image consultant to help mold her clients into dynamic, polished, and profitable industry leaders. Her clients have appeared on national platforms and have made thousands of dollars speaking. Heather's greatest love is helping entrepreneurs get to the core of who they are, and she gives them the tools to express themselves powerfully and authentically. And here is the phenomenal gift that she's giving away in our Daily Success giveaway, and it is how to become an industry influencer. So with that, Heather, welcome.
Thank you so much. Oh, yes. And I was just thinking back. I forgot that we had done 2 parts to your interview because you had so much great content to share. That's awesome.
I remember that. That was so much fun.
Yes,
because we had been at Harvard, and it was just like this culmination of this great speaking adventure, and it ended with me being a guest on your show along with some other thought leaders. And I mean, you had people from all over the world that day. You had people from South America, Denmark, and everybody was converging on the studio. So that was really fun. So I wanted to ask you, what are the big benefits of becoming an influencer?
Well, I think in some ways, it's kind of obvious. It's the impact, first of all, that you have. If you're the word influence is you're influencing your market. So you're influencing your market, and depending on what your mission and your goal is, you're impacting and influencing the world in the way that you want to see the changes in the world. So if you're somebody who has a strong belief in creating positive change in the world, of course you want to be an influencer. And sort of the way that I think about it, I think there's some misconceptions about when the word influencer is thrown around now because of Instagram, and people think of models who are doing brand deals, and that is a kind of influencer. But what I'm talking about is true thought leaders who are getting invited to speak on podcasts, gracing stages to speak to crowds, and really getting their message across and being seen as somebody who has a unique point of view and is sharing that and making an impact in the way that they want to.
Well, I think you're right, because we live in this world where the Instagram of this and everything is exactly that instant. Mm-hmm. And that word, just like authority, influencer, it gets diluted. But in the real world, these words and actions still have big meaning. So why do you think that so many entrepreneurs and people who are really, truly thought leaders get overlooked?
Well, I think the number one thing that I find over and over and over again is that the core message, you said it in my intro, the core message is not distilled enough. And people have an idea of what their core message is. They have an overarching message, but it's not completely aligned, and it's not deep enough. And I know people kind of shy away from, especially in a business pursuit, when they're working with a strategist or a business coach, and you throw words around like soul, alignment, personal mission, it becomes like, cotton in your ears because it sounds really fluffy. But it's not. If you look at really big corporations, like look at Nike, how big Nike is. Their whole philosophy is based on 3 words, right? Just do it. And there's so much that's distilled to get that message. And when you can get that core message that's aligned to who you are and your personal belief system and get it crystal clear, it is a springboard for everything that you do. And it's the fuel that creates a movement of people who can latch onto your message. And if that message is not crystallized, it's really hard for people to do that and join your movement or be a part of your community in a way that's long lasting.
Wow. It makes me realize that me stumbling around seriously trying to go, oh, well, this and this. And what you just said is you distilled it just like just do it. It's the core message. And that's what all of us need to be looking at is what is it? What can you say about what you do in 3 words?
Right.
Or 1 word. And that's actually, that should be a writer downer, for people, because it's one of those things that most of us, we don't realize that we're diluting our power because we're not willing to let go of whatever it is that we think we're doing, because most people are afraid to narrow their influence down to a specific group of people. So is everybody really cut out to be an influencer?
Honestly, I think everybody has the potential to be powerful, but I don't think everybody has the personality for it, because we're driven by different needs. Some people are driven by the need for power. Some people are driven for the need for recognition, some for money. People have different driving forces. Like, I'm not one of these people because I really like performing. I like connecting with people, but there are artists who create art and they do it just for the creative activity of it. They could create something and keep it, in their home or in their studio and not share it because they love that. If I'm going to create something, I want it to be a shared experience. So I think that everybody is driven by different sort of internal forces. And I think the people who want to be influencers, who really want to be influencers, are people who want to go beyond. There are people who have thriving, financially successful businesses who have no interest in becoming influencers. They're running their business, they're doing their thing, they're making their money, they're living their lives, they're going on vacation with their family, but they're not interested in going on speaking on big stages. So I do think it is a personality thing. When you have that, you know it. You don't need anybody to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, do you think you know it? Because you feel it inside. You want to share your message. You have a drive to impact. You have a drive to influence and get your message out. So I think everybody potentially could be an influencer, but I don't think everybody is naturally called to do that because we all have different internal motivators. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, because some people would rather be in the background, and then some people get forced out into the front, and then they say, wow, I kind of like this. But oftentimes there are people that they just, they're successful and that's good enough. But then there are other people who have, like you said, this internal desire to make a big impact, and they have this big message that they feel the world needs to hear. That's the whole premise of TED Talks, for example. One idea worth spreading. And I think that that's something that's really true. So in your opinion, what does it take to go from just being somebody who's, successful in your everyday world to being seen as that national or international leader, or even somebody who's welcome on the stage to speak and share?
Yeah, I think we've already touched on it, but it's really having a message. You have to have something to say. You mentioned before that you were on my show. I think I've done over 90 interviews. As a person who's sitting in the chair looking for people to interview, and I'm sure you know this as well, you want people who have something interesting to say, that have a unique point of view. And, not just another vanilla success story, but you want somebody who's going to really spark something inside of you, inside of your listeners. And again, it goes down to being connected to that sense of mission. What is your mission? And I think if you don't have that, you're not going to have the fuel or the passion or the magnetism to get on stage and to impact your audience and be invited back and to create that wildfire of your brand that is, this person is known for this. Like, I'm trying to think of somebody, Brene Brown. Like, what is Brene Brown known for? What's her word? Vulnerability. Her whole platform is about vulnerability, right? The power of vulnerability. So if you want to hire somebody about vulnerability who's an expert on it, you go to Brene Brown, because she's kind of cornered the market on vulnerability and her research and her story. So I think it really does come down to that. So there's the core messaging, the core belief system, but then obviously as an image consultant and someone who is on stage a lot, you have to look like you can deliver something powerful, right? And, as a singer, I used to audition. You would have literally 100 sopranos lined up to sing one of the arias from La Boheme. How are you going to choose, right? First of all, you have to have the talent. You have to have the high notes. But then what? Like, when you walk in the room, are all eyes on you? Do you look like you can deliver? It's the whole package. So it's having the message, and it's also showing up, looking and acting like somebody who can own the space.
Wow, now you have me scared, Heather.
Oh, no, it's not scary. It's not scary, but think about it. Like, think about who you want to see on stage. Think about who sparks your interest and, who grabs your attention. They have something interesting to say. That's the first thing. And I'm not saying everybody has to look like Coco Chanel or be glammed up. I mean, I'm a little bit more like glam because that's who I am. But I saw a talk, I think it was the guys from Life is Good. I think that's who it was, at the Boston, Massachusetts Conference for Women, and 10,000 women in the audience. And he showed up in jeans and Converse and a T-shirt, but that's his brand. And that's what you expect from him. If he came in a tie, you'd be like, well, where's the guy that sells the Frisbees? It wouldn't be on brand. So it's not that you have to look like all glammed out, but you have to look like the message and the best version of that. So it's not about scaring people into thinking something that they're not.
Well, it's funny because I remember when I first met you, because you are somebody who's very put together all the time. And, I just have to face it. I'm not.
Well, if you saw me at my local, grocery store, I wouldn't probably be wearing this, right? I mean,
But it's funny because I follow you on Facebook. So I watch what you do, and sometimes you're reporting from your minivan from a workout, for example.
Right.
And other times you are literally glamorous because you're on a photo shoot. And then often you write this beautiful original poetry, and you take these beautiful photographs, nature, a lot of photographs of the Boston area. So you're very what I would consider well-rounded, but your image is, no matter if you're reporting from the minivan after a workout, there is some type of an underlying thread that it comes through in everything you do, because I think you nailed it when you said, you know who you are, what your core values are, and your core message. So it comes through, and it isn't about how you're dressed. And I think that is part of the image. When you work with people, can you kind of describe what that might look like a little bit? Because one of the things that with daily success that I really want to point out to everyone is, yes, you're going to get this great free gift, but you can also reach out and talk more with Heather. So what would working with you possibly look like?
Yeah, I mean, my main package is called the Celebrity Platform Builder, the Celebrity Brand Platform Builder, because it's the foundation. It is the platform. And I believe in what I'm telling you today, which is that it all starts with message. And we work first and foremost to get clear on your core point of view, your values, your sound bites. What is your brand story? And just a side note, you and I have heard a lot of speeches, of talks where people have told a story and it had nothing to do with their brand or it had nothing to do with their expertise. You have to tell the right story so that it aligns with your expertise and positions you as the leader. So we get really clear on the right story and how to tell that story. And then your marketing messages, your manifesto, like your sort of help statement, I would say. But we get all of the messaging down, and then we develop your signature offers. And I've done that several times recently. One of the people that I've worked with recently it's been so exciting because I'm watching her give this workshop over and over. I open up Facebook and I'm like, oh, there she is. She's giving the workshop and there are people in the room with her. And it's not 20 different workshops. It's the signature program that she's developed so that your brand is streamlined. And then once the messaging is in place, then we work on the image piece. And one of my favorite things to do is photo shoots. So we were just talking about that before we hopped on how important your visuals are, not only to express your level of expertise, but also your brand and your personality so that it's aligned, right? We talked about, if you are not sort of a glamorous person, don't go to Paris and have your picture taken in gown in front of an Eiffel Tower because that's not on brand. If you are glamorous and are wearing gowns lots of times or want to do that for fun, go do it. But you're really trying to communicate your expertise and in the most fun, unique, polished way possible. So that's super fun. We do that as well. And then the speaking part of it, we work on the signature talks so that that you have something, get on the stage with, to sell your offers and to communicate your message. And then, of course, we work on the performance aspect of it as well. We bring in my stage experience to help people learn how to be comfortable and confident on stage and in front of the camera. So it's the whole thing, making stars, people who look, sound, and act like superstars when they step into the spotlight. That is the core of what I do, and it's the whole package.
Well, that's the thing about you that makes you really stand out as a unique person, in my eyes, is the very fact that because you have all of that performance background, and then you have the personal branding aspect, and it's like the whole package. And when you said that about telling the right story, that literally is when I talk, as you know, I've interviewed a lot of people, and I ask them often about that very topic about, well, how do you come up with the right story? Because so many people, they're told, tell the most devastating, awful story you can come up with from your life. And I'm thinking to myself, well, number one, that may not be the right story to tell if you're trying to represent yourself in a certain way. And so I have seen people tell the wrong stories many times. and it didn't make me not like them, but it didn't make me want to do business with them either. So,
right.
so I think you're on target. And if I were to say anything about you, Heather, it would be that you really do have the path to stardom. And if you want to be that influencer, the reason is you've done it. You have the real experience, because like you said, out of 100 sopranos, who's going to step out and be the chosen one? You have to do something, and you have helped people do that over and over and over again. So thank you so much for participating in the Daily Success giveaway, because I'm trying to bring in people who really can bring that daily success to help everyone who's, coming to take a look at all of us with our daily success services and everything. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Tammy. It's been a pleasure. And I just wanted to say one other thing, is that all of what I do is about authenticity. It's not about putting a fake shell on something else. It's about bringing out who you really are and what you really believe in, and shining your best as yourself. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear too.
Well, I'm 100% with you, and I'm all about transparency and being authentic. And again, get the free gift from Heather. It's how to become an industry influencer. It's really easy to get. You just click and you'll give her your name and email. Boom. Instant access. And I actually did a little preview of the industry influencer giveaway, and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this. So thank you again. And everyone, this is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to Daily Success. Tune in again and subscribe. Never miss a moment of daily success.